Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class, we were discussing about Legislative Council. And friends, in this class, we will continue our discussion further. So friends, as you can see on the screen, that the topic of today's class is also Legislative Council. So in this class, we will discuss about Legislative Council and we will complete our discussion with the topic of Legislative Council. So friends, let's begin. So friends, the first question of today's class is that what is the strength of Legislative Council of any state? Okay, so now what does this mean? So this basically means that how many members, okay, this basically means that how many members can be there in the Legislative Council of a state. Okay, so are you getting what I am asking? So I am asking that how many members can be there in the Legislative Council of a state. So now let us try to discuss about this question. So friends, as here we are discussing about the strength or the number of members in the Legislative Council. So now we need to see the strength with two parameters. So it basically means that first of all we need to know that what is the minimum required strength of the Legislative Council. So minimum required strength means at least these much members should be in the Legislative Council of a state. Okay. And then we need to know that what can be the maximum strength of the Legislative Council of a state. So maximum strength means that the number of members in a Legislative Council should not exceed this number. Okay. So friends, the strength of the Legislative Council of any state should not be less than 40 members. Okay, so are you getting what I am saying? So I am saying that the minimum number of members required in a Legislative Council is 40. Okay, so the number of members in a Legislative Council should not be less than 40 members. Okay, so it means that the minimum number of members required in a Legislative Council to formulate a Legislative Council is 40. But friends, now we also need to discuss about the maximum strength of the Legislative Council. So this basically means that what is the maximum number of members which can be in a Legislative Council. Okay. So friends, what happens that actually it depends, this maximum number is different from state to state. Okay, so the minimum number is 40 for all the states, means if in any state there is a Legislative Council, then it must have minimum of 40 members. But the maximum strength of the Legislative Council, actually differs from one state to another. Now why this differs? So this differs because according to the Constitution of India, the strength of council shall not exceed 1/3 of the strength of assembly. Okay, so what happens that the strength of council shall not exceed 1/3 the strength of assembly. Now what does it mean? So friends, this simply means, so I am giving you an example for making you understand this concept. Okay, means what is the maximum strength of Legislative Council? So let's suppose, okay, so we know that there are many states in India. Okay, for example, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. Okay, so now, but here we will take the example of a hypothetical state. So let us imagine that there is a state named as State A in our country. Okay, now let's suppose, okay, so definitely if there is a state, so this state must be having one Legislative Council. So in the last class I told you that India is this state must be having Legislative Assembly. Okay, this state must be having Legislative Assembly. And while Legislative Assembly is compulsory, so Legislative Assembly is compulsory because India is a federal country. So there is a government at central level and a government at state level. Okay, means there must be a government for state A. Now government has three organs: legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, so it means that this state A must be having a legislature. So this legislature for the state A is Legislative Assembly. Okay, so what happens that this state A must be having one Legislative Assembly. Now let us suppose that the maximum strength, okay, means means the total membership. What I am telling is that the total membership of this legislative assembly is, let's suppose, X members. Okay. Okay, so the total strength or the total membership means total number of members in this legislative assembly is X members. Okay, then according to the Constitution of India, if there is a legislative council in the state A, if there is a legislative council in the state A, then the maximum strength of this legislative council can be X upon 3. Okay, if there is a legislative council in the state A, then the maximum strength or the maximum possible number of members in this legislative council can be X divided by 3. Okay, so are you getting my point? So let us summarize what we have studied till now. So I have just taught you that under the Constitution of India, the strength of the council means the strength of legislative council shall not exceed 1/3 of the total strength of the assembly, and it shall not be less than 40 members. Okay, so now can you tell me that what is the minimum and maximum strength of the legislative council? So now you can tell that, sir, the minimum strength of the legislative council is 40 members. Okay, so this simply means that in any legislative council, this simply means that if any state in India is having legislative council, then the number of members in that legislative council can't go below 40. Okay, means 40 is the minimum required members for the formation of a legislative council. Okay, now friends, what is the maximum strength of a legislative council? So now you can say that, sir, if there is a legislative council in a state, then definitely that state must be having one legislative assembly. So the maximum strength of the legislative council should not exceed the maximum strength of the legislative council should not exceed 1/3 of the total strength of the legislative assembly. Okay, what I am saying, that the maximum strength of the legislative council shall not exceed the total strength of the legislative council shall not exceed 1/3 of the total strength of legislative assembly. Means if there are X number of members in the legislative assembly of a state, then the maximum number of members in the legislative council of that state can be equal to or less than X by 3. Okay, so this is the minimum and maximum strength of the legislative council. Now friends, let's move forward. Now friends, the next important question here is that how the legislative council of a state is constituted. So this basically means, or in this question we will simply discuss about that what is the electoral collegium. What is the electoral collegium for the members of legislative council? Okay, so here I want to make you one thing clear, that as there are two houses in the state legislature, the first house is known as legislative assembly and the second house is known as legislative council. Okay, and legislative council is upper house and legislative assembly is lower house. Now the members of this legislative assembly are known as MLAs. The member of legislative assembly are known as MLAs, and the full form of MLA is member of legislative assembly. Now in the similar way, the member of this legislative council is known as MLCs. Okay, so MLC simply means that the member of legislative council. So now if in this lecture or in the forthcoming lectures, if I will use the term MLA, then you will think that MLA means member of legislative assembly and MLC means member of legislative council. Okay, now friends, here in this question we have to discuss that who are the voters in the elections of MLCs. Who are the voters in the election of MLCs? Means if there is an election for the members of legislative council, then who will vote for them? Okay, and how will they be elected? Okay, so what we have to discuss here, that what is electoral collegium for legislative council, means who are the voters in the elections of MLCs. So now let us discuss about it. So friends, okay, so let's suppose that the total number, so I will explain you this with the help of one example. Okay, so let us suppose that there is one state and the name of that state is state A. Okay. Now let us suppose that there are two houses in the legislature of that state. So definitely legislative assembly is compulsory. So this state is also having legislative council. Okay. Now there are elections for the members of this legislative council. Okay. So now our question is that who will choose the members of legislative council, or who will vote for the members of legislative council? Okay. So friends, now let us suppose that there are total Y members in the legislative council of state A. Okay. So what is the total strength of the legislative council of the state A? So let us suppose that the total strength of the legislative council of state A is Y. Okay. Now this Y can be any number. It can be 60, it can be 70, it can be 80, it can be any number. Okay. So we have just assumed Y because this number is different for different states. So what is the maximum strength of the legislative council of state A? So the maximum strength of the legislative council of state A is Y. Okay. Now friends, what happens that if Y is the total strength of the legislative council of state A, then Y upon 3 members. Y upon 3 members means 1/3 of the total members of legislative council. Okay. About 1/3 of the total members of the legislative council will be elected by the members of local bodies in the state. Okay. Means these people will act as voters for 1/3 of the members of legislative council. Okay. So what I am saying, I am again repeating my statement. Listen to it carefully, that about 1/3 of the members of legislative council will be elected by the members of local bodies in the state. Now, what are these local bodies in the state? So, for example, the Panchayati Raj institution. Panchayati Raj institution is local body within the state. For example, municipalities is called as the local body within the state. Okay. So these are the examples of local bodies. For example, panchayats and municipalities. Okay. So 1/3 of the members of legislative council will be elected by the members of these local bodies, the members of Panchayati Raj institution, the member of municipalities, and etc. Okay. Now let's move forward. Now friends, after this, the next 1/3. Okay. So we have already elected 1/3 members. Okay. So Y was the total strength, and we have already elected Y upon 3 members. Okay. Okay. So now the next 1/3 members. Okay. Means the next Y upon 3 members. Okay. So the next 1/3 members of the legislative council will be elected by the members of legislative assembly. Now members of legislative assembly simply means MLAs. Okay. So I have told you that there are two houses in the legislature of a state: legislative assembly and the legislative council. Okay. So the members of legislative assembly are known as MLAs. Okay. So what will happen, that the about 1/3 of the members of legislative council will be elected by the members of legislative assemblies. Okay. So this simply means that the MLAs of that state will act as voter. The MLAs of the state will act as voter for these 1/3 members of legislative council. Now friends, let's move forward. Now friends, after this, about 1/12, okay, about 1/12 of the members of legislative council, about 1/12 of the members of legislative council are elected by the graduates of the state. Okay. So if you have done graduation, then you can also participate in the elections of legislative council. Okay. So graduates, for example, if you have done graduation in arts, BA, Bachelor of Arts. If you have done graduation in science, for example, BSc, Bachelor of Science. Okay. For example, you have done bachelors in technology, you have done BTech, you have done Bachelor of Engineering, or you have done any bachelor's degree. Okay. So the main thing is that if you are a graduate, okay, then you can also participate in the elections of legislative council. Okay. And about 1/12 of the members of legislative council are elected by the graduates of the state. But there are two conditions. all the graduates cannot participate. There are two conditions which the graduates have to meet for electing the members of Legislative Council. The first condition is only those graduates can participate in the election of Legislative Council who are the residents of that state. Okay, means the outsiders cannot participate, outsider graduates cannot participate in the election of Legislative Council of any state. Okay, for example, let's suppose if you are a resident of Madhya Pradesh, okay, then you cannot participate in the elections for the Legislative Council of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so if you want to participate in the elections of Legislative Council of Uttar Pradesh, then you have to be the resident of Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Now after this, the second condition is that the person must have completed 3 years after his graduation. Okay. So this simply means that at least 3 years must have passed from the date when you were graduated. Okay, means for example, if you are instantly graduated, for example, if you have done your graduation in 2018, then you cannot participate in the elections of Legislative Council in 2019. Okay, means at least 3 years have passed. Okay, means when you were graduated, from that date, if 3 years are passed, then you are eligible for your participation as a voter in the election of Legislative Council. Okay, now let's move forward. Now friends, after this, the next 1/12th member of the Legislative Council are elected by the teachers of that state. Okay, means now the teachers act as voters for the next 1/12th members of Legislative Council. But teachers also have to satisfy two conditions. And okay, so the first condition is that they must be the resident of that state. Okay, means these teachers must be from the same state. Okay, now what is the second condition? The second condition is that the rank of these teachers must be equivalent to or higher than secondary grade teachers. Okay, now what does it mean? What does it mean? So this simply means that the teachers not lower in rank than secondary grade teachers can participate in the election of Legislative Council. Okay, means if the rank of a teacher is lower than the secondary grade teacher, then he is not eligible for his participation as a voter in the elections of Legislative Council. But if the rank of a teacher is equivalent to or higher than a secondary grade teacher, then only he can participate as a voter in the election of Legislative Council. Okay, now let's move forward. Now friends, after this, all the remaining seats, okay, all the remaining members are actually nominated. Okay, so all the remaining members are actually nominated by the governor of that state. Okay, so we have discussed here that what happens, that about 1/3 of the members of Legislative Council are elected by the members of local bodies. Then I told you that about 1/3 of the members of Legislative Council are elected by the members of Legislative Assembly. Then I told you that about 1/12 of the members of Legislative Council are elected by the graduates. And then I told you that about 1/12 of the members of Legislative Council are elected by the teachers. Okay, now if you will add all of this, if you will add all these numbers, then the result will come as a 10/12. Okay, and when you will simplify it, then the result will become 5/6. Okay, so 10/12. So simplify it by 2. So the result will come as 5/6. Okay, so if you will add all these numbers, then the result is 5/6. So this simply means that till now we have elected 5/6 members of the Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council. Okay, for example, let's suppose if the total strength of the Legislative Council is Y. Okay, then till now we have elected how many? Y multiplied by 5/6 members already. Okay, but now also how the election of how many members is remaining? Okay, so now also the election of how many members is remaining? So now also the election of 1/6 members of the legislative council is remaining. Okay, so now also the election of 1/6 members of the legislative council is remaining. So now you can ask me that, sir, how have you arrived to the number 1/6? Okay, so let's suppose that the total, okay, so now let me do a mathematical calculation for all of you. So what happened that when we added all these numbers, okay, so you can do the mathematical calculation in your home. So you will find that the result will come as 5/6. Okay, so this simply means that till now we have done elections for by multiplied by 5/6 members. We have already done the elections for by multiplied by 5/6 members. Okay, and what was the total strength of legislative council? So the total strength was Y. The total strength of legislative council was Y, and we have done elections for Y multiplied by 5/6. Okay, so for finding the remaining members, what we will do, we will actually subtract this number. We will subtract this number from the total strength. Now the total strength is Y, so we have to subtract 5/6 by Y. Okay, so we will do and when we will perform this calculation, then the result will come as Y/6. Okay, so now we can come to the conclusion that now also the election for 1/6 seats is remaining. Okay, so how these 1/6 seats will be filled, or we can also say how all the remaining seats will be filled. So all these remaining members now will be nominated by the governor of the state. Okay, but friends, there is a condition. Governor cannot appoint any member. Governor cannot appoint any person living in the state as the MLC. There is a condition for these nominated members. The condition is that the person must be having special knowledge. That the person must be having special knowledge or practical experience in the field of arts or science or literature or social service or cooperative movement. Okay, so what I told you that 1/6 members were remaining for elections, or 1/6 seats in the legislative council were remaining for the elections. Okay, so what will happen that for all these remaining seats, governor will nominate the persons, and these persons will become the member of legislative council. But if a person wants to get nominated as the member of legislative council by the governor of the state, then he must be having, it is a must condition that he must be having special knowledge or practical experience either in the field of arts or in the field of science or literature or social service or in the field of cooperative movement. Okay, all of them are not necessary. The person must be having special knowledge or practical experience in any one of them. Okay, for example, let's suppose that if a person is a scientist, so if a person is a scientist, then it means that he is having special knowledge as well as practical experience in the field of science. Okay, then there is no need that he must have any experience or knowledge in the field of arts, literature, social service or cooperative movement. Only science will suffice. Okay, so this simply means that if a person wants to get nominated as the member of legislative council by the governor, then he must have special knowledge or practical experience in either of these fields. Okay, so in this way all the members of legislative council are elected. So some members are elected and some members are nominated. Okay, so we have seen all these things, and with this the election of legislative council is now completed. Now friends, after this, let us discuss about legislative assembly. Okay, so now let us discuss about legislative assembly in a detailed manner. So friends, here the first and the most basic question is that what is the strength of legislative assembly? Okay, so strength basically means the total members in a legislative assembly, means how many total members are there in a legislative assembly. So friends, the answer of this question is quite complex. Why? Because first of all, the total strength or the total members present in a legislative assembly, this actually differs from state to state. Okay, means the number of members in the legislative assembly of one state is different from the number of members in the legislative assembly of any other state. For example, the number of members in the legislative assembly of Madhya Pradesh is different, and the number of members in the legislative assembly of Uttar Pradesh is different. The number of members in the legislative assembly of Telangana, in the legislative assembly of, let's suppose, Tamil Nadu, okay, all of these states is different. Okay, so the one thing is that the number of members in the legislative assembly of different states is different, and this number is actually decided by the population of that state. Okay, so if the population of the state is higher, then the members will be higher, and if the population of the state will be less, then the members in the legislative assembly will also be less. Okay, so as some states are having more population, so the number of members in these states is also more, and as some states are having less population, so the number of members are less. Okay, so here we cannot discuss about particularly that which state legislative assembly has how many members, and this is also not relevant for our exam point of view, because here we are mainly focusing on civil services exam conducted by Union Public Service Commission, UPSC. Okay, so here we need to know this question from a broad national perspective. So we need to understand that what can be the minimum strength of the legislative assembly of a state, and then we need to know that what can be the maximum possible strength of a state legislative assembly. So friends, the strength, okay, so let's suppose that the strength means that the total number of members in the legislative assembly of a state be X. Okay, so what we are supposing? We are supposing that the total number of members in the legislative assembly of a state be X. Okay, now the total strength of the legislative assembly of any state cannot be less than 60. Okay, means in the legislative assembly of any state, in the legislative assembly of any state, the number of members must be equal to or greater than 60. Okay, so are you getting first thing? So the first thing is that the number of members in the legislative assembly of any state cannot be less than 60. So it simply means that the number of members in the legislative assembly of any state must be equal to or greater than 60. Now friends, similar to that, the number of members in the legislative assembly of any state cannot exceed 500. Okay, now what does it mean? So it means that the maximum possible numbers of members in the legislative assembly of any state must be either equal to or less than 500. Okay, so now you can say, okay, so now if I ask you that what is the strength of the legislative assembly of a state, then you can say that, sir, the strength of the legislative assembly of a state is between 60 and 500. Okay, the minimum possible strength of the legislative assembly can be 60, and the maximum possible strength of the legislative assembly can be 500. No legislative assembly in the country can have a strength more than 500 and can have a strength less than 60. Okay, so are you getting my point? So again I am repeating my statement that the number of members in the legislative assembly of any state must be between 60 and 500. The minimum possible members in the legislative assembly is 60 and the maximum possible members in the legislative assembly is 500. Okay, but friends, here there is a twist. Now let's see what is the twist. So friends, I told you one thing, that the number of seats or the strength of any legislative assembly of any state is actually decided by the population of a state. Okay, means the number of seats is directly proportional to the population. Okay, means if the population of a state is high, then the seats will be high, and if the population is less, then the seats will also be less. Okay, now I have one question for you, and my question is that let's suppose if there is a state in India, and let's suppose the name of this state is state B. Okay, now let's suppose that this state is very small. The size of this state is very small, and the population of this state, what I am saying is that the population of this state B is also very, very less. Okay, means let's suppose there is one more state. Let's suppose there is a state and the name of this state is state C. Now let's suppose that the number of seats in the legislative assembly of state C is 60. Okay, what I am saying that the number of seats in the legislative assembly of state C is 60. Okay, now if you will compare the population of state C and population of state B, then you will find that the population of state B is much less than the population of state C. Okay, what I am saying that the population of state B is very less. Population of state B is very less as compared to the population of state C, and its state C is itself having 60 seats. Then how many seats will the legislative assembly of state B will have? What is my question? That how many seats will the state legislative assembly of state B will have? So friends, for answering this type of question, there is a provision in the Constitution of India. Now there is a provision in the Constitution of India that if the size of a state is very less, and more particularly if the population of a state is very, very less, if the population of a state is very, very less, then what happens? So what happens that President of India can provide the sanction, means can provide the permission. President will provide the permission for having the seats in the assembly less than 60. Okay, so what I am saying, again listen to it, that if the population of a state is extremely less, it is very, very less, then what will happen? Then President of India can provide a special permission. President of India can provide the sanction for having less than 60 seats, in the legislative assembly of that state. Okay, now friends, what is the process? So we need not to go into the process of this sanction, that how the president will give permission and what is the ground process, okay, and what is the role of parliament in it. So we need not to go into it, okay, because here we have to stick to our UPSC syllabus. Okay, so we need not to go into the process of this sanction, that how the permission will be given, what is the role of the parliament in that. Okay, so we need not to go into that. You only need to know that if the population of a state is extremely less, then President of India can give a permission. President of India can give a sanction to that state for having less than 60 seats in the legislative assembly of that state. Okay. So friends, this actually happens by the act of parliament. Okay, but we need not to go into the detail of that. Okay. Now I can give you one example also. For example, the legislative assembly of Goa. Okay, the legislative assembly, Goa is a very small state, so we know that the legislative assembly of Goa is actually having less than 60 seats. Okay, and actually legislative assembly of Goa only have 40 members. Okay, means there are only 40 MLAs in Goa. Okay, and definitely this number is less than 60. Okay, so if the population of a state is less, then a special permission can be given and that state can have the number of members in legislative assembly less than 60. Now friends, after this, the next important question is that how the elections for legislative assembly are conducted. Okay, so I told you that the members of legislative assembly are known as MLAs. Okay, and MLAs means members of legislative assembly. Okay, so now our question is that how these MLAs are elected. What is the process of the election? Okay, so now let's see the process of election for MLAs. So friends, the members of legislative assembly are actually elected by the direct election. Okay, so direct election means that people give vote. Okay, so directly people give vote. Okay, for the members of legislative assembly. Okay, and actually these direct elections are based on universal adult franchise, or what we call as universal adult suffrage. So this basically means that all the people in the state whose age is equal to or more than 18. Okay, all the people in the state whose age is equal to or more than 18, they will give vote in the elections of MLAs. Okay, so the first thing is that the elections are direct election, and direct election simply means that directly people give vote to their preferred candidates. Okay, and moreover, these direct elections are conducted on the principle of universal adult suffrage, universal adult franchise. So this simply means that all the people in the state, whether they are poor or rich, or whether they are man or woman, or whether they are anything, whether they belong to any religion, they belong to any caste. Okay, if their age is equal to or more than 18, then they will participate in the election for legislative assembly. Okay. Then the second thing is that the elections are conducted by single member territorial constituency. Now what is the meaning of this single member territorial constituency? So now I will explain you this concept. Okay, and then I will tell you the actual process of elections on ground. Okay. So friends, now I am making a diagram for you, and here we will take one example, and based on that example I will explain you the process of election. Okay, this process is useful in UPSC as well as this is useful in your practical life as well. So here we will take the example of a hypothetical state. So let's suppose there is a state named as state A. Okay. Now friends, let's suppose that the total seats in the legislative assembly of state A be 80. Okay, means how many seats are there in the legislative assembly of state A? 80 seats. So what we have to do? So let's suppose that this is state A. Okay, so we can say this is the map of state A, or this is entire state A. So what we have to do, that we have to divide this state A. Okay, we have to divide this state A into 80 equal parts according to the population. Okay, what we have to do? We have to divide. Okay, so I know that these, okay, so let's suppose this is one part. So I know these are not 80 parts, but let us assume that all of these parts are 80 parts. So what we have to do? We have to divide the entire state into 80 parts. Okay, and what is the basis of division? The basis of division is population. Okay, means the population of each part must be equal. Okay. Now friends, each of this part will be called as a single member territorial constituency. Okay, so this is the meaning of single member territorial constituency. And why this part will be called a single member territorial constituency? So this part will be called a single member territorial constituency because from one part, okay, because from one part, one member will be sent to legislative assembly. Okay, from one part only one member, only single member. Okay, so this single member is underlined. Only single member, only a single member will be sent to legislative assembly. Okay, and definitely this is a geographical area, that's why it is called as territorial constituency. So the meaning of single member territorial constituency is that from every one part, from every one constituency in the state, one member, only one member is sent to legislative assembly. Okay. Now friends, what happens that the election is conducted on all these single member territorial constituencies separately. Okay. So what happens that the election is conducted in all these single member territorial constituencies separately. But the process of election is same for all the constituencies. So here we will take the example of one constituency and I will explain you that how the elections are conducted in every constituency. So let us, okay, so I have highlighted here one constituency in the red color. So let's suppose that this is a constituency. Okay, and election has to be conducted in this constituency. Okay, and in the similar way, the election will be conducted in all the remaining 80 constituencies also. Okay, so the process of election is similar, but we will take the example of one constituency, that how the election is actually conducted on ground in one constituency. So friends, all of us know that there is party politics in India. Okay, so there are many political parties, but here I will not take the name of any political party. We will assume hypothetical parties. So let's suppose there are 4 political parties: Party A, Party B, Party C and Party D. Okay, and these parties are having their one candidate. Okay, and the candidate of these parties are contesting election in this single member territorial constituency. Okay, for example, let us say that the member from party A, the member contesting from party A is Lallu. The member contesting from party B is Ballu. The member contesting from party C is, let's suppose, Sallu. And the member contesting from party D is, let's suppose, Tallu. So they are 4 persons contesting from different 4 political parties. Now there can be independent candidates also. Independent candidates means the candidates which do not belong to any political party. Okay, but here we are not considering independent candidates for the sake of convenience. Okay, now what happens that there are many people in a state. There are many people in the state. Okay, means the population of Indian states is in crores and lakhs. Okay, some states are having lakhs of people and some states are having crores of people. Okay, so now friends, all these peoples means, let's suppose if there are 1 crore people. Okay, so we are here discussing about constituency. Okay, and definitely in India, constituencies are also very, very big. Okay, so as the population of entire state is also very high, so I told you that what happens that the population of every constituency is almost same. Okay, so actually what happens that the entire population of the state is divided into several constituencies. Okay, so in India what happens that the population of each constituency is also very high. So let us suppose that there are total 2 lakh people in this constituency. Okay, now friends, this is just an example. This is not a real number. This is not a real fact. This is not a factual number. This is just an example. So only take it as example for the sake of understanding. Okay, so let's suppose that the number of people living in this constituency are 2 lakh. Okay, now out of these 2 lakh people, some people will be below 18 years of age. Okay, so they will not cast their vote. Okay, so they will not cast their vote. Moreover, some people who are above the age of 18 also, they will also not cast their vote. Why? Because it is up to their wish. They do not want to cast their vote. Okay, moreover, every citizen of India should cast his or her vote because this is our duty. We should cast our vote because we have the right to vote. We have the power to elect our government. So we should vote. But due to many reasons, due to illiteracy or due to unawareness, what happens that many people do not cast their vote. Okay, so what happens that remaining people cast their vote and they will give vote to their preferred candidates. Okay, so now let's suppose what happened that this Lallu means the candidate of political party A, he received 10,000 votes. Okay, means 10,000 people directly give vote to political party A or the candidate Lallu. After that what happened that Ballu means the candidate of political party B, he received let's say he received 30,000 votes. Okay, so how many votes he received? He received directly 30,000 votes. After that, the candidate of political party C means Sallu, he received, let's suppose, 40,000 votes. Okay, and after that what happened? Tallu means the candidate of political party D, he received, let's suppose, 50,000 votes. Means 50,000 people of this constituency gave vote in the favor of Tallu. Okay, so now total how many votes were casted? So if you will add all of these terms, so you will say that sir, total 1,30,000 votes were casted, and out of total 1,35,000 votes, what happened that 50,000 people supported Tallu. Now friends, in Lok Sabha elections and Vidhan Sabha elections, so here I want to tell you one more thing, that the election of Lok Sabha and the election of Vidhan Sabha, okay, they are very similar. So if you have already studied about elections of Lok Sabha, then actually there is no much need to study about the elections of Vidhan Sabha. They are much similar. Okay, and there are very small differences, and I am mentioning all the differences in the lecture. Okay, so actually what happens that the election of Lok Sabha and the election of Rajya Sabha, they are actually based on a system known as first past the post system. So in short, you can call it PTP or simply FPP. Okay, so this also means first past the post, or this also means first past the post. Okay, so it really doesn't matter. Now what happens in first past the post system? So friends, in the previous classes I told you that how the government is made. So friends, in the previous classes I told you that how the government is formed. So in at center and as well as at the state level, the government is formed by absolute majority. So absolute majority means that if a party is having more than 50% seats, if a party is having more than 50% seats of the total strength of Lok Sabha at the union level or Vidhan Sabha at the state level. Okay, so it means that if we are discussing about, so let's take the example of state. So if we are discussing about state level, so if a political party is having more than 50% seats of the total strength of Vidhan Sabha means state legislative assembly. Okay, then only, okay, so only that political party forms the government. What I am saying, I am again repeating. So let's this time take the example of the union level. So at the union level or at the center level, what happens? That the political party which gets more than 50% seats, means absolute majority in Lok Sabha, that political party forms the government. But the elections are conducted on a different principle. Okay, so these members of Lok Sabha or these members of Legislative Assembly, okay, these members are actually elected by the principle of first past the post system. So in first past the post system, majority is not seen. It is not seen that a candidate must be having the support of more than 50% of the members of constituency. Okay, so it is not seen. Okay, it is not required. It is not at all required that a candidate must be having the support of more than 50% voters. It is not at all required. What is required is that the candidate who will secure the maximum votes. Okay, now this maximum number can be more than one also. For example, in this example I told you that Tallu received 50,000 votes and Sallu received 40,000 votes. So Tallu received highest votes and Sallu received second highest vote. Okay. Now let's suppose that if the Tallu have received 40,001 vote, then also Tallu will win. Why? Because Tallu have exceeded the number of votes in his favor by 1. Then also Tallu will win. Okay, so in this example, Tallu is having a lead of 10,000 votes. But if he will get the lead of one single vote, then also he will win. So what actually happens in first past the post system, that if there are, let's suppose, 10 candidates. Okay, so the candidate who will get the maximum votes, only that candidate will win. It is not seen that how many votes he have actually received. It is not seen that what percentage he have received. It is also not seen that he has won by how many votes. Only what is seen is who has received maximum votes. For example, in this example, this Lallu received 10,000, Ballu received 30,000, Sallu received 40,000 and Tallu received 50,000. So as Tallu received the maximum number of votes, so definitely the Tallu has emerged victorious. Means the political party D has won the election in this particular constituency. Okay, so the member of, okay, now this Tallu is the candidate of political party B, and as this Tallu has won the election, so now this Tallu will be the MLA from this particular constituency. So he will represent his constituency in the Legislative Assembly. So friends, in this way, the elections will be conducted on all the seats in all the constituencies in a state. Okay, and the members who will win in their single member territorial constituency, these members will represent their constituency in the Legislative Assembly of the state. Okay, so friends, with this the topic of the election of the Legislative Assembly is also now completed. So friends, that's all for today. I hope that all of you must have enjoyed the lecture, and if you have enjoyed the lecture, then please like the video, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and select all. So friends, now we will meet in next class and we will complete the remaining topic of state legislature in the next class only. So friends, now we will meet in next class. Till then, stay indoors, stay healthy, take care of yourself. Thank you.